Hello, it's me, Robin Tefon. It's a bright sunny day, as you can see, and I want to take it up from where we stopped last. But before then, let me quickly find out, how are you keeping? Are you enjoying the notes you've been taking? Please take time to go back to your notes and be able to update yourself from time to time, share it with your friends, and most importantly, to make them become aware of this website. This program is intended to be available to as many singles as possible because it will help you. See, you might even go through a Bible school and you don't have lectures on how to have a successful marriage. So I'm here to enhance your relationship and help you have a lasting, happy marriage, lasting, happy relationships. Might not be marriage, might be with your friends. These principles cut across. It works. The principles work. How do I know? Well, I've applied them. I've been applying them. I'm still applying them today. Now, I want to quickly ask you to take a look at the things that we have put down on this page, and they are information about the programs that we are going to take in the 6 weeks course. I'm just hoping that what you have heard so far, they have benefited you in some ways. It have helped you to become aware of some things. So that leads us to the next point, and that is there are 4 basic ways, 4 processes of learning, 4 major steps that you cannot jump over. Number 1 is becoming aware of the things you never knew. It's that there are things that are possible and you are just not aware of them. There are things that you can have but you don't know they exist. There are levels of life that you can enjoy but you don't know how that can happen. Now, some years ago, if they told you that with a click of a button that you can send one information to millions of people across the globe, maybe you would have argued. You would have thought it was impossible. So all that needed to be done was somebody who could find out how it could be done. So these modules, these teachings are meant to show to you how it can be done. We are going to take out time to talk about communication. We're going to take out time to talk about emotional maturity, or what most psychologists refer to as emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about money in relationships. We're going to talk about the God factor and the luck factor. We're also going to talk about the you factor. Now, what's your own place? Where are you supposed to function to make your marriage work? So it's going to be a full package. So I want you to become aware that there are certain things that can be possible for you. There are things that are happening in marriages that you don't know. So all you see is the facade, is the external things, most times based on what you have seen in movies and films, or you have read up from videos, read up from novels of some names that you respect. That cannot form the basis for your own marriage or your relationship that you intend for it to last. So you need, in your own program, in your own plan, to include the time to learn. Number 1, understand there are things that can be possible for you. There are certain amounts of money you can earn, but you don't just know how. So that brings you to the things that you are not aware, the unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence. That's the level. Now, the second level is that you now become aware that there are things that you could have, but you didn't just know, you were not aware. So you were unconscious of the things that could be available unto you. Now, the next level is becoming conscious of what you don't know. First is that you are not conscious of what you don't know. Second is that you now become conscious of the things that you don't know. And that brings you to the point where we are having what we are having now. You are hearing some information that are creating awareness, causing you to know that there are certain things you ought to have, but you don't have them. You couldn't have them because you didn't know how. Most times it's not just that they are not available, it's that they are available and you don't know how. So you can have the relationship of your dream, you only need to know how. And number 3 is now where you now consciously do something about it. You consciously learn about it, but you are not really fully competent. You are not a master yet. You become aware of it and do something about it, and then you begin to practice it. You begin to make effort. At that stage, the confidence may not be full and complete. You are just trying to get your head around what is happening, and that is the stage that is very critical. You need to put away all the feelings of, oh, I might make a mistake, oh, I might stumble here, or I might fail here. That is where many people turn away from the fulfillment of their destiny. In business, in relationships, and in everything, they don't want to make mistakes. Now, by making that choice that you don't want to make a mistake, that is the mother of all mistakes. That is the mother of all mistakes. It's like people who say, I don't want to decide about this. Oh, I've not decided. You have not decided means you have made a decision. Not deciding is a decision. It's a decision. Consciously, unconsciously, you're making a decision. And the 4th stage is the most powerful, is the most important thing, which is what we are aiming at. And that will bring me to the next level of what I'm going to tell you. And that is a stage where you practice these things until you are now unconsciously doing them. Can I say something to you? That there are many things that you know are right, but you can't bring yourself to do them, even though you know they are right. Secondly, there are things that you know they are wrong, but you can't bring yourself to the point where you can stop doing the wrong things. So even though you know these things are not the right things to do, you still keep doing them. You still keep going back to them. Which is why what I'm going to say next is very critical. Listen, one of the most troublesome cases in marriage relationship or in lasting relationship is communication, which is what I have treated earlier. Communication, understanding, being able to share your feeling with the other person and to be able to get the feedback that you expect. Is it not true that many of us, we say what we have in our minds and only we understand what we are thinking? You are the only one who understands what you are thinking, and you really wish the other person understood. And then before you know what is happening, you are exasperated, you are tired, because you don't understand. Now, it's only when you have the ability, the skill to give understanding, that's when you will be able to receive understanding. And that is when you can claim to be able to communicate. Why don't we have the ability to communicate? Number 1 is that you don't have clarity within you. Many people are always carrying about ambivalence. They carry 2 minds concerning one thing. So when they want to share this thing, because it's not clear inside of them, they don't really understand. They are saying it with ambiguity. All right? It has more than one meaning. They have too many meanings for one thing. Now, even when they are saying it, their mouth is saying something different from what picture their hearts, their minds are carrying. So we will have time to take you through that particular module where you understand how to be effective in your communication. If you don't have effective communication with yourself, chances are you are not going to be able to communicate with others. Number 1 person to be able to communicate with and be sure you enjoy a lasting and long relationship, whether in your friendship or at work, at home, most importantly, is that you have to be able to communicate with yourself. How do we do that? You have to be able to see yourself as somebody who has some value. I mean, that's the beginning point. The ultimate is to know that you are invaluable. In the scheme of things, in the eyes of the Creator, you are invaluable. And it is time for you to stop comparing yourself with others, wanting to be like the other person. When will you start being yourself? When will you start to be yourself, to enjoy who you are? Now, you don't have to do what others are doing to be able to enjoy yourself. You have to understand what is called intrinsic value. You have to have respect for yourself and be able to communicate with yourself. Give yourself some respect. Don't wait for others to put the respect on you. If every time you want to feel respected, people have to impose it on you or superimpose it on you, very soon you will do away with that because it's not in your nature. So that is where the 4 levels of learning comes in. There are things that can make your life great, but you just don't know how. You are not even aware. And then you become aware of them and you know that you need to update yourself to be able to get into that. And the 3rd level is where you are doing it, but you are not competent in it. And the 4th level is the level where you have done it, it becomes your second nature. My aim is to help you to be able to get to that level. And how can you do that? Is that when you get these teachings that I'm going to send to you on emotional maturity, the teachings I'm going to send to you on EQ, emotional quotient, you take time. That's why this program is so important. It's different. It's unique in its nature. You'll be able to download this into your system and listen to them by yourself. Listen to them time and again and again and again. You need at least 7 times of listening to one message to be able to store it into your subconscious. Now that should make me point out something. Now, to be able to do that with things that are positive, you need to do that with conscious, deliberate effort. But if it is to speak the wrong language, the moment you say one wrong thing, you need at least 17 times of saying the right thing to counter that one wrong thing. How powerful is that? So this is loaded. This is loaded. Now, I want to also point out something to you. What we are doing is not just something that can start and end with you. There's no need just wanting to opt out of this because you are into a program that is meant to be a system that runs. And the beautiful thing is that if your name is on our list of those who are doing these 6 weeks courses, you are going to be having free bonuses from time to time, and our products will be sent to you. Most of them are going to be very enlightening, very educative. Now, you can tell that from what you have been receiving. So understand that you need to understand that the first place to know how to communicate is with yourself. If you fail in communicating with yourself well, by the language you use on yourself, by how you think about yourself, by how you feel about yourself, if you need to work on your self-esteem, you need to do that fast. Because if you don't, you're always jealous of others, you feel you're inferior, you feel others are better than you, it's going to show up in your relationship. There's a point I want to make, and that is, we all naturally get drawn to something that is better than what we have already. People should learn to keep their words. People should be promise keepers. I mean, if you're not a promise keeper, it's going to also reflect in your relationship. Marriage has to do with trust. Now, but having said that, many people now eventually discover the friend to their fiancé or fiancé is a lot more together, a lot more corporate, a lot more reasonable, a lot more matured, mentally, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and along the line, they change their minds. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell, but I'm telling you that one of the reasons is that when you have complex, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your marriage. It's going to affect your children if you eventually get to the point where you are able to raise a family. So you need to be together. Now, what message do I have for those who are already so deep into a relationship and they feel they can't do without each other, but they're still having things that they have not sought out? You need to bring yourself under a marriage mentor, a relationship mentor who will be honest with you, who is not just looking for your money, but is available to guide you, give you the guidance, give you the advice that you need. The choice, the decision of what you want to do is yours. That is what makes this different. After you go through the course, we are not doing it on 0 or 100 or 001, whichever way. This is not what we're doing. We're not doing 200. We're not doing 300. No, we are doing it it's an education that works. Education on how relationships work, how marriage succeed. So it's more of an apprentice and a mentor thing. All right, it's a mentor and a mentee's relationship. So you now bring yourself under some level of tutelage where you will be taught the things you need to know and the things that are working and the things that will work for you. Now, if that sounds good to you, I want you to take a break here, because I don't want you to suffer from the common problem, which is information overload, and then get yourself together for the next shot. All right, so look forward to see you in the next video.